Working? All right, folks. Please. Silence. Thank you guys for staying 4 p.m. South Florida. I just came this morning, Raleigh, North Carolina. So jealous that you guys what you have here, but maybe grateful that I don't have this kind of temptation, right? Otherwise, beach, sun, no time to do something. Oh. True, true. Thanks, Hackmiami, for having me and giving me the chance. So we heard a lot of talks about the AI attacking, thank you, malwares, right? I represent the blue team in the product security. Someone has to defend, right? Someone has to protect, and it's always not easy. With the recent advancement of the AI, Gen AI, LLM, it's 2025, and any respected company should have something with AI nowadays, right? So in my case, I'm focusing the Copilot for threat modeling. Threat modeling is one of the main pain points in my organization, in any organization I have been. Cool, yeah, my name is Murat Zhumagali. I'm, as you guys guessed, product security engineer. Quickly, the agenda, you're gonna know a little bit about me. We're gonna cover the basics. We'll talk about the challenges of the threat modeling, why the current approach doesn't work, and the AI solution, what is the engine we have built and we are using slowly in production, right? We are advertising it internally and trying to, not to force people, but to keep using it. Results, lesson learned, benefits, some of the little bit disadvantages, and the next roadmap. Quickly, I did my master USC Los Angeles 10 years ago, been at the IBM like the previous folks for 5 years, again on the blue team side always. Switched the gears to the startup world, being their first security and a little bit of compliance engineer. Nowadays, I'm part of the Progress mid-size enterprise. We talked a little about the scope is a bit narrow, B2B. You guys heard the product like Chef maybe, deployment. That's the Progress. Fiddler for fuzzing, Load Master for load balancing. So very, very specific use cases and products. All right, motivation. Yeah, I had 3 main reasons back in 2024, November, October. I wanted to catch up on AI, but there was a lot of buzz, right? You guys probably feel that same. AI is everywhere, LLM, deploy this tool, it will solve all the problems, use this model, that model. And I want to separate the real value, right, from most of the marketing buzz. Security focus, my current company started moving aggressively into LLM. They started building the features like products around LLM for external customers. Now, as a security team, we had to protect. And in order to protect, we need to focus on the practical application of the Gen AI. And the best way is to build something from inside to learn something, right? That's how I ended up doing this project. Okay. So as I said before, I want to share the real-world AI application from the inside, battle-tested trench learnings, right? Some of the ideas I can give you, maybe you can use in your organization, and then we can share the learnings. Have you guys heard about Matthew Adams' Stride GPT? Stride GPT is the open source for threat modeling. Okay, so a little bit of Stride GPT, yeah. So, back in 2024, November, I found it. I thought, oh, as a lazy guy, why don't you just use the open source solution for my page, right? It was a cool schema. It gave me inspiration, but it had the limitations of you had to provide the open API key or Anthropic, like talking to your foundational model. That means all your data would be shared with that provider, right? Which is the no-go, at least in our case, and a lot of like legal compliance enterprise, right? That was a drawback number one, and number two, there was no context. It was a tool, you give a little bit of information, that's it. It doesn't have the connection to your like product information, environment, data flow diagrams, etc., right? Exactly. So why I talked about Matthew Adams, I got the big inspiration from him to use it. Threat modeling. Who has done threat modeling before? Cool. I have some swags for you. You want to grab? Don't be shy. Yeah. Gonna pass on. Of course. Can you guys give me what it means for you, the threat modeling, just in a few words? But what it means, like what is exactly? Okay. Yep. Yep. You yeah, not only network, in the bigger product. You guys heard about shift left, SDLC. I know some of you guys hate about those terms, but just stick with the industry fancy terminologies. It's part of the, as the folks mentioned, part of the shift left, finding those issues before we ship the product, right? Ideally, right in the single line. So we have the idea, architecture, and then we give the possible threats to the engineer to focus on. So we fix them before writing the code. It's less expensive, quickly solvable, and less headache for everyone. And mainly we answer 4 main questions, right? Again, gentleman pointed out what we are building. We are defining the scope and architecture, what can go wrong. We identify the threats, potential attack vectors. Validation, did we do a good job? And what we're doing about it, like mitigations, controls, remediations, all the good stuff. Now the challenge, it's very time consuming, right? Usually we spend like a week, and I'm talking about the accumulated time. And we sit down like 1 engineer, maybe 3 developers, project manager, and we brainstorm, we try to moderate it, workshop doesn't work, trainings from the vendors, it's not scalable as well. So you have usually 1 engineer for 20 software developers. At IBM, that was the scale. Now it's maybe 25 software developers. And they keep shipping the products, right? That's the nature of the business. They have to move quickly, and you have to be there to support them. So it's not possible to match in the long term. M&A strategy hurdles. Sorry for the little bit of the space there. Not specific to Progress, but specific to companies who just acquire the products, right? As a result, we try to keep the same technology, same tech stack, not to disrupt the business. And then you will have 10 different products to support, 10 different tech stacks. So it's double difficult for a security engineer to switch the context from one product to another, the 3rd product, 4th product, 5th product. Nightmare. And solution based on the AI is pretty simple. I broke it down for the 4 components. You have a user interface where you can input your data, Streamlit. I'm leveraging the AWS RAG for knowledge integration. Everything to constructing the prompt, the LangChain, and AI brain is Sonnet 3.7 from Anthropic Claude, right? Simple. You might have questions here, I know. Cool? Just to reiterate a bit on the workflow, you'll have an input, you'll process everything in the engine. It generates for you the output. the step number 4 is validation, where you have the human in the loop, basically. I will go there. It will be a diagram. It will be text from your product description, product name, and then the customizable fields. Yeah. This is the detailed prompt that I'm giving to my foundational model. When you go to ChatGPT, you say, hey, act as a tax advisor or act as a lawyer. This is the same way I'm saying, hey, act as a cybersecurity expert in threat modeling for my specific product here. And then your task is to find the threats, vulnerabilities, based on Stripe Microsoft methodology, and all we love OWASP top 10 principles. Then this is where the user is passing the name, description of the product, application type, data classification. I'm going to show you in the demo. Authentication method, deployment type, all the nice things, right? And then at the end, I'm asking the model, give me the output in this nice format, table, readable. Asking for at least 11 threads in the exact same format. Sorry for the small fonts. Any questions on the system prompt? Yes. Yeah. Because different products, they might have different application authentication methods. Yes. Okay, this is equally and maybe sometimes more important than your system prompt. You remember the context? I talked about the product context. In my case, I'm providing the open API fields related to my product network diagrams, data flow diagrams, environment information, right? Open API is just a comprehensive API documentation, visual representation of the system connections, all the user flow through the data flow diagram, and of course, environment information about, is that the cloud, is that the data center, is that the on-prem, VPC, etc. Cool. This is how I'm structuring the data inside my AWS RAG solution. I'm not the expert here. I'm just I just use the recommended advices from AWS, right? These are more questions to a data science or ML engineer. I'm using their Titan model and vector database for embedding the data, and then S3 bucket just to put all those information.
That data source, what is it? It's files or what?
Yes, PDFs, yeah.
What is in there?
You remember?
Previous threat models or what?
Not yet, this files. So the open API files, diagrams, environment information, all that, let's say, right now in PDF. I'm chunking them, everything in the S3 bucket. And then this database is reading it from the S3 bucket and passing it to the knowledge base. And it's ready for me in a nice readable format to grab it. So the foundational model comes and grab it from here as the behind the scene knowledge.
Where are you actually getting the input?
I'm going there from the user.
Oh, so it's something that the developer actually uses.
They provide some additional input data based on their product. But this data I prepared before. So, yeah. So it's like we're giving some knowledge to the AI, right, beforehand. Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, these ones, open API files, diagrams, all these things, this is a historical data.
These are the historical company data, right? Yeah. These are like one common for the whole company, for the whole product. But the developer, their teams, they might have different features or products they're building. So they come with their...
So this is like a regular for your product overview.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Something that the developer has, something new that's...
Exactly. Like, so I'm a developer, I'm coming from, let's say, authentication or some API buy feature. I might have my diagram, I will give it, but it will consider these files as the company information, right? Because right now you can take all your information as a developer and you can go to, let's say, your corporate OpenAI. and give it and say, hey, give me the threat model, right? But it doesn't have the connection to your context, which is the lacking. And it might give you some like generic threats. And quickly the demo, just to remind, these are the user personas. It could be a developer, it could be a security engineer. I did record it. So imagine this is I'm giving to the user, developer, or security engineer. And they're coming here. They have their product, they have their description.
So they fill in the form, right?
Yeah. They can give their product name, they can give the... Ideally, in the production, we have a Jira ticket already created like a security design review. We have a required name, description, and diagram, right? So just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste.
Is all Streamlit, you said?
Yeah, for the UI, Streamlit, pure Streamlit. Look at the application types. These are related to my product only. Like this one's executable, background, Lambda. You can make it your own, right? Authentication, we have a built-in method. That's why you don't need to do anything else. So some of the features might be customer or internal data. And then deployment type could be SaaS, on-prem, or both.
You have like any custom things here?
Not yet. These are the only the way.
I suppose all those drop-downs relate to whatever you uploaded in your vector.
No, those ones I uploaded before. This one's the user coming, and then I will add it here.
Well, whatever you uploaded before, is it already organized and based on these drop-downs or not?
No. They're already waiting for additional data behind the scenes, like on the back end. So this is the user diagram. The disadvantage for now, the solution, this is the usual representation, let's say, of the diagram.
So this is what they uploaded?
Yeah, they will upload now as a user. This is a description. Again, ideally, you'll just copy paste it from a Jira, but I'm putting here.
I suppose eventually you would want to integrate it with Jira.
Yes, that's on my roadmap. Right now, I'm caring only about the engine, the performance of the engine.
Basically, you can create the same form on Jira.
So this is the current limitation. If you saw, I pasted the textual representation of the diagram, not the actual diagram. But because the current models of the AI, at least in my cases, they didn't work for complicated workflows. Like for the 10 arrows, user one comes here, there, it works fine. But when you upload like 15 arrows or 20 different like workflow, it's crashing. It doesn't read properly.
The model should kind of recognize the image and then, based on the recognition, build something.
It didn't work, at least in my case.
Is that
No.
Bedrock or Claude?
I tried OpenAI, I tried Claude. So for now, they are failing. My next step is to try Mistral. I heard they have the good foundational model to read the images, like extracting. So right now, I'm connecting to my knowledge database, the one that I talked about, like behind the scenes. We have to wait a few minutes, retrieving some API specification, etc. And then at the end, come. Yeah, it's running. It needs to think and proceed all the data. So this is the output. You remember the system prompt I showed before? Table, component name, threat, the severity, high, medium, scenario, how you could exploit that threat, impact, worst case impact to a company or product, and mitigation, right? How you can mitigate it. obviously, right now, this is a dummy example.
So and after that, let's say developer should take it and start.
So right now,
Mitigations.
yeah, right now, we have a security engineer who verifies it. You remember the step number 4? Like that's why I call it Copilot, exactly. Human in the loop verifies output. If it's good to go, needs to add something, remove something. That's it.
But I have a question. You in your prompt, you said like, give me 12
Threats.
threads, right? This number is taken like from, you can put 12, 10,
Yes,
20,
yes.
100, whatever. But if you put like say 100, maybe 1,000.
Quality drops.
What?
Quality drops. Quality of the thread.
It will start biasing, right? It like probably start generate some crazy things.
Mhm.
Yeah, so probably there should be some reasonable number there.
I started with 10, then I stopped at 12. It could, in this demo, I think it generated 15, 13, 14 threads. So it has that some sort of a limit itself. Yeah, and then at the end, we export to CSV, attach it to a Jira ticket, and good to go.
One question, for example, you mentioned there's like a security guide that will validate that, right? Is there like a feedback loop, for example, if the security guide like identify there was like something wrong or something missing? Is there a way like to do like a feedback loop for the model like to improve it?
Feedback loop for whom?
For the model, like the person reviewing the output, then input that data back into the model so that the model like continues to improve.
Yeah, that's on the roadmap as well. Yeah, you're talking about like a training, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question about the threads and the mitigation. So you also, I know, shared some kind of a database with standard stride.
Yes, this in a system
So
prompt.
it's not like it. I mean, probably model they probably know all of that already, but you kind of give it upfront, right? Like,
Yeah, this is the command I'm saying to him, like do this and get all the
so
data.
You don't have it, I don't know, a file shared to the model maybe as a context or something before with the your common threads and.
No.
So you just use standard what model knows from whatever it knows.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
From-
because there could be some custom scenarios, right? And maybe you should.
Yeah. Talk about the demo. Okay, so the result. Disclaimer, the numbers, the feedback here, opinions are purely subjective. There is no way to objectivize the output, right? Yeah, November 24, POC, shitty result, 10% generic, right? No context, nothing. December 24 prompt staffing, if you guys heard now, you just take the knowledge base and then pass it to your script. You hard code it, right, basically. It works fine just to brag to your management, get some green light, etc. But the output is 35%. Okay, the rack technology, where you have a lot of files and you put it into your S3 bucket, right? You remember that page? That one increased to 45%. Here, I didn't need to do anything. The Sonnet 3.7 from the Anthropic just increased it by 10% automatically. I just had to change the API one line, right? And this is the beauty of the solutions. Whatever I'm doing now may be shitty for 25, but when these models get advanced, I just need to change the API and then I will get increased value, right? That's my hope at least. March 25, I did work with another engineer, 75. We got into, let's say, agreed number. April 25, different feature, 80%. This is debatable among even our team, so take a granted salt. My goal personally, if I reach 70%, I'll be happiest person and I can close the project and focus on the user workflow, like Jira, all the fancy stuff.
How are you going to do this currency?
This is subjective. This is like we got the list, like 12 threads.
Someone like
Yeah,
the engineer looks like, okay, this looks good, this is better.
three people. Me, the author of the Copilot, I have another engineer who is very smart but skeptical of the AI. He thinks it's very like a buzzword, scam, and all that thing. So he's very skeptical. I need that person. You know, I'm an optimist. He's a skeptical, and then I have a developers like the feature authors, right? And for them, any output is great. They saw it in I think February. They said, "Give me it. I can use it. That's it. Job is done." I said, "No, hold on. It's just 55%. We need to work more." Right? Yeah, I didn't think about it. Maybe, yeah. The one I showed you, this is pure my way of doing the threat model based on the Stride foundation, right? But not like breaking down to every category. Yeah, I don't like to be honest. My goal also later to pass it to the developers so they could use them themselves. You remember the scaling problem? So now they'll have a threat modeling agent basically on their hand. All right, any questions here? Some of the security privacy advantages of the solution. In the title, you saw the word LLM private threat modeling. Why the word private is, I will expand a bit. As you can saw from the solution, it's pure AWS Bedrock, Anthropic model, right? The beauty of it, I'm not sharing any data outside of AWS. So everything stays within the premises. Even the Claude model, I'm using the model, I'm renting their technology, but I don't have any API key going, right? So everything is staying here. That's why data privacy measures. It wins me compliance regulatory, right? All the people who don't know about AI, you'll say everything staying within my control, that's it, right? Within the infrastructure. And then built-in benefits from the AWS itself. The Bedrock, security guardrails, prompt injection guardrails, authentication IAM, etc. So I don't need to do anything additional here. Any questions?
I'm just curious, regarding the AWS services that you're using, I saw you using an OpenSearch.
Yeah, database. Bedrock.
Something else, not for this, but for something else. Like, I work in product management more. So my question was like, everything you've done, does it function within the free tiers of these? Have you noticed by any chance?
In my case, no. We do have so our product is purely on AWS. We do have some accounts for us, right? But the cost is very minimal for now. Yeah. This is just like instant. This is not running 24/7, right? This is click that generate model. Can you speak louder?
Sorry. Your initial model was against Stride, you said, and I assume it's flexible for, I don't know, another model like just draw NIST or something.
Of course, yeah.
So I can fill within a given, let's say, a limited amount of time, whatever, those compliance and regulatory considerations.
Yeah.
Measure from your previous graduate in November, now you're in May. It was at 70 to 80% compliance, basically.
Yeah, you can, again, this is flexible, right? You go to system prompt, you ask change the prompt, you ask whatever you want to do, just make it more detailed, more structured, right? The better the prompt, the better the output. Did I answer your question before?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get an idea because I'm familiar with the services, so I got it. It looked affordable.
But pretty sure you can build it on the free tier.
Yeah.
It's just
that's
like
a personal experiment.
Yeah. It just.
In case if you are, let's say, if you're working for enterprise, you're probably in M365, right?
Yeah.
So they have Power Automate, Power Apps, they have AI Hub. You can use OpenAI models there. They
less than $10
Yeah.
a month even. So.
Yeah. And oh, there was something else. I'll try to remember.
Cool. Some of the lesson learned. I talked about the diagram formats, right? Images, PNGs, they're all for now sucking. So we are, luckily the teams that I'm doing the POC, they are in the DSL format or TXT format. They can do the diagrams, so I don't need to do anything additional. I'm just grabbing that. But this is the roadblock to scale across the whole my company. Now I need to find the solution.
And people draw diagrams like whatever they want, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
on a paper.
Or any tool, like we don't restrict them, right? I cannot ask them, hey, just for my thread model in Copilot, please do it in a DSL format, right? Yeah. So the knowledge base quality, again, garbage in, garbage out. This is the classic situation of it. Whatever you put in, whatever you get out, right? RAG beats the prompt stuffing. So always start with the RAG. Start the hard way. I started the lazy way. Anyway, wasted months. So I came back to the proper way. And start with the simple use cases, not only threat modeling, but maybe you have a compliance use case, right? I believe I'm advocating in my organization, it's one of the simplest use case to leverage the LLM. Not easy, simplest. You have the knowledge context, you have a compliance control, SOC to HIPAA, and you ask the question, right? Hey, am I meeting control 77? Yes, why? Because of this. No, why? Because of this.
But how do you know if you meet or not?
You have a Copilot, you're gonna train.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this was like my question because, okay, NIST is open, they open, look at the standards, you look at the controls. Everybody that I know in my enterprise is trying to be what, CMMC 2.0 compliant, right? And documents and controls are all out there. Plug that into this, it can go, oh yeah, you are meeting me.
Yeah, but how do you confirm that base control if you meet the you need to do the test, right?
You have a reason. You ask the reasoning. You ask the trace reasoning. Hey, tell me why. So you give the link to the specific document or knowledge base.
All right, yeah, but it's about testing, right? So say
Of course.
you put
course.
authentication in there, right? So in your design there is authentication. Maybe in practice there is no authentication, or it's like really weak, not what you expected, right? So testing about the compliance, say if do you have strong authentication, blah blah blah. So the model will answer yes, but in practice who knows?
That would be a question to an expert, right? The compliance officer usually get the information from the documentation, from their. You had a question?
Right.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
You can connect your system and say, do I have access control 1.2 from the NIST framework? And it's actually tapping into the API, pulling the data back and getting a screenshot or parameters saying, so I kind of wanted to build on it. Here you were talking about connecting the documentation, right? Can you actually connect the software itself?
No.
So this would be more upload the document for the compliance framework and
Yeah.
see, okay.
As a design
Yeah.
stage.
This is more of a philosophical recommendation. Like if I knew everything I learned through my journey, I wouldn't start with the threat modeling. I believe is one of the difficult use cases to try to automate with the Gen AI, because at least in my experience, the higher the creativity you need to perform that job, the more difficult the Gen AI can replicate it, right? That's why my goal is the 70% output, that's it. But the vulnerability management, compliances, they are more routine or more based on the knowledge base. So you need less, I'm not diminishing, but less a little bit creativity, right? Because you need the knowledge, but less creativity. So that's why if you have use cases, start with simpler, not threat model. Mm-hmm.
But that's what we talked about. Can you connect the environment? Because if it's documentation based, then there is a gap in your
to your question of the knowledge, if you saw, I'm preparing it, right? So as you said, it could be lag behind the live day, but AWS has ways to connect to, let's say, Confluence pages live through the API, right? So just grab it, put it. I haven't done that, but there is a way to address that challenge. Go ahead.
When I say fast, like, I don't know, in the stage that it's at now, if I ran it against something, it could give me, like you said, 70% results in a short time frame. Like I could test it in an hour or whatever and say, oh, okay, you've got this story. Versus I go to an auditor to run a test, pay $10,000 or whatever to do that test, and it takes days or whatever to do. And maybe I get them a qualitative result, but it takes days. What do you say? It's somewhere in that ballpark, or what you're talking about here, or am I just off completely here?
This is the slide I have, the dollar number to your.
Time reduction, exactly.
Yeah. So to your question, time reduction. Either it's doing the security engineer, or it's performed by the newbies, right? By the new developer who hasn't done the threat model. Now we ask them, hey, do the threat model before you write the product, right? Now they can just grab the tool and use it, and the result is ready in 5 minutes. You saw? At least the 70%.
Like you said, it's $10, well, depending on your license, right? It could be $10 or less, could be $100 or less, not 10,000.
Right now, there's a big debate that the industry is subsidizing the cost of the AI models. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is a good argument, right? So they are trying to hook everyone into AI, into all these models, into all these solutions, and then when the time passes, they might start increasing the cost. So I can
only speak to just my knowledge point on this is, okay, if we're not subsidizing the AI models, I don't know what stage per se we're at, we are subsidizing, one, the need for it, at least just the people to go out and say, hey, make this compliant with that. And what I mean is like, oh, we've got a bunch of auditors running around saying, okay, is your system this grade compliant, right? And then if not, you need to build it up from there. What if the cost of that could be dramatically less through something like this, right? So it's not tens of thousands of dollars, it's tens of dollars.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Just quickly on the roadmap, I said the quality improvement, the fine-tuning, the training. I want to give the previous threat models. I want to give the previous outputs, right? Saying, hey, this was the input, this was the output, learn from it. Benchmarking, comparing to OpenAI, I tried the Google one, it failed. I couldn't upload it into Bedrock. Try Olama, and then some other models, right? And the 4, improve the user workflow. Put the Jira automation, right? So the user creates the security review ticket. It automatically, in 10 minutes, gives the CSV file of the threat model, right? So they didn't need to go to the pain of copy pasting and all that thing. Sorry? Not yet, but the one that I mentioned, the Matthew Adams, he has the good open source model already, Stride GPT. So you can grab it and now use it. Yeah. Basically, my inspiration idea came from him, but for the reason I mentioned previously, I couldn't use it. I think that's about it. So, I like this was a more live discussion and it's a little bit argument. Maybe closing questions you guys have? Everything was covered during it, right? Just to learn, play, yeah. Just want to see the hype, right? What is behind the hype? Is there real value for me or not?
So, this is not something your company does or sells or anything?
No. This is purely internal security Copilot tool. Guys, if you want to grab more swags, you got yours?